ready.
And welcome to Combs and Fitz, a Windy City Sports Talk. It's your boy, Brandon Combs, along with my guy, Ryan Fitzgibbons. What's going on, Fitzy?
Wah, wah. I guess the Cubs came back. They're turning the season around as of Wednesday.
Yeah.
The season is turning around.
And then Cincinnati, which has been the Cubs' Achilles heel since 2015, takes 3 out of 4. Yeah. It's not good right now, man. It's just not good. I mean, it's about almost as not good as your inability to call the Stanley Cup Finals the Stanley Cup Finals. Instead, they were the NHL Finals.
I said the NHL Cup.
The NHL Cup.
Yeah, that's close enough.
It's the Stanley Cup.
It's a little wordy.
You run a sports podcast, sir. My goodness.
Do we really? I mean, do we really? In this town, does this town need a sports podcast?
It needs it needs a spot for their fans to vent. Yes.
There. Does this town need a sports podcast?
Yeah. Who else is gonna vent?
What did
Shanna says it's called the Stanley Cup. What the fuck? I agree, Shanna. It's called the Stanley Cup. But anyway, we're gonna talk Cubs Sox. We're gonna talk Stanley Cup Finals. See how I said that there? Stanley Cup Finals. We're gonna talk the NBA Finals, and talk some Bears. We'll even get into a Fitz gibberish, I guess, since you work on it so hard. We'll let you do that again. It's the only reason people watch.
The fans. I do it for the fans.
It's the only people watch or tune out, one or the other. Either way, it's the reason they do something.
Yeah, or don't tune in at all.
Yeah. So look, the Cubs. We'll start there, man. It's been really bad. Look, Cubs fans have been. You know, they were a little ridiculous during the White Sox series. Oh, yeah, maybe this will propel them. You realize they had to come back in both games against the worst team in baseball, right? Like this is the worst team in baseball. It might be the worst team you've ever seen in baseball.
In your lifetime, at least.
And you had to come back from 5-0 and 5-1 deficits in both games.
I think the one night I had a long day and I just was like, the only thing they can do is blow the lead and lose. So I'm going to bed. It was 5-0. I think the other game it was 5-3 when I went to bed. So really, after I went to bed, this is what the Sox did. Why is he gunning the engine?
Shanna's still coming for you.
Oh, come on.
Shanna says, been called the Stanley Cup since before the NHL even formed. You don't get to negate it, Fitz.
Get over it. It was a quick post on Facebook.
It's our bio for our podcast.
I'd like to offer a rebuttal.
There's my rebuttal. Thank you, Rick.
But no, for the Cubs though, man, look, it's bad right now. Look, I know today Shota Imanaga got the job done again. 6 2/3, only allowed 2 runs. Cubs won that game 4-2. They jumped out to a 4-0 lead. They got the job done. Ian Happ is starting to heat up again. The bats are starting to slowly come alive. Dansby Swanson's hitting the ball again, hitting the ball hard. And you know, even Chris Morel, look, you say what you want about his batting average. I know he's batting something like only like 210, but he's had some balls that, I mean, his expected batting average rate on all of his outs are 280. And he had a ball the other night that he hit that just this play at second base was made. The expected batting average on that hit ball was 830. It was an out for him. So he's hit into some bad luck. The lineup's starting to hit again, but they just, I mean, pitching wise, especially in the bullpen, man, they just can't get it done. And I know they threw Kyle Hendricks in there to be an innings eater, or maybe try to come. Craig Counsell brings him in again in a 1-run game the other day.
Yeah, and he said we thought we had the matchups there. I read that quote, and I was like, well, I don't know if
What
he's
the fuck, Jeremiah?
like, what the hell? What I mean,
Why?
you fall asleep in the fucking toilet again.
But he said he was in the bath with candles while he was watching us.
On the toilet.
Ran out of towels and bags. Jeez.
You hate gays? I hate hockey. I don't hate hockey. I
don't hate gays. What is wrong with you?
I'm trying to get the post out there, for Christ's sake.
You're just like you're no better that you're no better than the commissioner of baseball who called the trophy a hunk of metal.
I never said it was a hunk of metal. I know some decent stories about the Stanley Cup too when Jeremy Piven was part.
You didn't even know what it was called when you made the post.
I just put NHL Cup. I was
so you wanted to say 4 letters is what you wanted to do.
NBA title, NHL Cup. I didn't say.
Do you have to pay for the ink that goes into Facebook when you post it? What happened?
Player in the history of the NBA. While I was saying the NBA title. Everybody knows what I was talking about. The communication was done. It's over. Can we move?
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
Exactly. Exactly. Drink up, Fitz. All right. So for the Cubs moving forward, though, and I've had this conversation. I've seen the rumor everywhere. I said this on our show 2 weeks ago that Vladimir Guerrero makes a lot of sense for the Cubs. He's going to be on the trade block. He makes a lot of sense. Does he make them a World Series contender? Look, I don't think so. I don't think that this team, as presently constructed, I mean, they not only do they need Vlad, but they also need a third baseman, a consistent third baseman, or they need to just let Morel play there. They also need some relief help. They need a bona fide closer. They need bona fide relief help in the back end of the bullpen. And if you're not going to go out and you're not going to get that, then no, Vladimir Guerrero doesn't make them a contender. But if you add all of that together and you're able to go get those pieces and you get some of these guys back that have been on the injured list, you get them back and they're healthy and they're pitching well. Hector Neris starts pitching well again. He had an outing today. 1-2-3 inning in the 9th to lock down the save today. If he starts pitching well and you get some of these guys back healthy, yes, this is a division that the Cubs can still win. They're not out of this division, but right now, as it stands, the Brewers are the better team. They just are, and I hate to say it, and I hate the fucking Brewers, but it's just the truth. They're the better team right now.
Sorry, Aaron Ludwig. He hates the Brewers, but our buddy over there at Dad's with Bacon. But yeah, I mean, they are. They definitely have. I mean, weirdly enough, I would not have guessed that they would have the better lineup this year, and it's pretty obvious they do. Milwaukee's been a good pitching team the last few years too. They've been good this year. But that's a pretty good lineup. I mean, if it stays that way, if they don't have any major injuries, it's going to be a tough division to win all of a sudden. For the Cubs, I still have them picked to winning it. I still have them picked to win it. I still think that they can make the trades. They definitely have a better farm system than Milwaukee. They can beat them out for any player that both teams might be going after.
Yeah, and Jeremiah says word is offer for Alonso and Martinez have been underwhelming. What if you make a play to get both? I think if you're telling me that, look, all of these guys, if Vlad's out there, Pete Alonso's out there, and Martinez are out there, I want Vlad. If I'm going to trade pieces and I have to give up pieces, I'm willing to trade the top 3 prospects in the Cubs system, including Cade Horton, to go get Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He's a player, but in order to do that, I also say you have to be allowed permission to speak with his camp. To be like, hey, if we make this deal, is he going to sign here? Is he willing to sign here? What is your number? Because if it's a number that I'm not even going to be willing to make in September, or October, November, whenever the time comes, then there's no deal anyway. And sure, I'll go after Pete Alonso. you can't make a deal like they're going to be asking for Alonso or for Vladimir Guerrero with your top 3 prospects unless you're sure that they are going to re-sign with you.
Yeah. And Pete Alonso being a little bit older, maybe that's where your calculus is with Guerrero. Yes.
John Fitzgibbon says, Rye, are you drinking beer?
Yeah, well, what's the problem with that? What's the problem with that?
Usually you just drink straight whiskey.
This is the bar tab of the 1787 farewell party for George Washington is intact. 54 bottles of Madeira, which I don't know, 60 bottles of Claret. I think that was champagne, 8 bottles of whiskey, 22 bottles of porter, 8 bottles of hard cider, 12 of beer, 7 bowls of alcoholic punch. What are they putting in the alcoholic punch in 17?
Probably whiskey. But how did your brother's comment turn into a transition, and how the hell did you have an overlay for it? Did you guys plan this?
I planned it. I thought I figured at some point I get made fun of drinking during the show, and there we go.
You usually drink vodka, no ice.
Yes, I do sometimes during the show. I haven't really this year. I've been pretty good, actually. When we went back, I was telling the guys when we did the draft show that you did a year in when you did a year in review.
Yeah.
First year anniversary, there was like 10 of just me drinking whiskey.
and then you got hammered at the draft show.
Not hammered. I was feeling good. I was feeling no pain. You took a shot with me.
I did. A couple, actually. Oh God. But at any rate, the Cubs have to make a trade. They've got to make something happen. They've got to, whether it's Vlad, whether it's Alonso, whoever it is, you've got to get a bat that is a threat to hit 40 home runs a year.
Yep.
You've got to get a bat that is consistent and can stay healthy. I've heard the rumors about the Cubs and the White Sox and Luis Robert. I don't want any part of that. I'm not giving up prospects for a guy who can't stay healthy. I'm just not doing it.
And they're not going to trade him this year. That if they would be trading low.
You're going to have to trade low on him anyway, aren't you?
I don't know. I mean, he's got 3 years left on his contract. You can pick your time when you want to trade him. If he has a good end to half a year this year and plays good for half a year next year,
but
or not more than half a year.
The question is always going to be can he stay healthy though? And
I don't think teams are going to care. He can play center field. If he could be mostly which would be a little over 2 years, he could be mostly healthy.
If a team trades for him though, it's to be a DH, isn't it?
Luis Robert?
You're not trading for Luis Robert to be a center fielder.
Yes,
now with his injury issues, why?
Because
the guy gets injured running down to first base. So you're going to let him man center field?
He's a Gold Glover center fielder. He's still too young to
listen. I agree. He's a Gold Glove caliber center fielder, and when he's healthy, he's an MVP candidate. I completely agree with you there. He's one of the best players in all of Major League Baseball when healthy. The problem is when healthy.
This isn't an Eloy Jimenez thing. He's played a full season.
It's not?
He's played a full season. He got hurt this year, but if he could stay healthy throughout the end of the year, he is DHing now just because he came back off an injury. But I think he goes back into center soon, and he's playing the rest of the year in center. And he's playing.
Tommy Pham will bitch slap him if he takes his spot.
Because I'm prepared to fuck somebody up, so you can take it as what it is.
Tommy Pham is hurt.
So I'm looking.
Yeah,
I know. So I'm looking at this. He's played more than 100 games once in his career, and that was last year. He played 145 games.
And his rookie year was the stupid COVID year.
Yeah, that was. Yeah. Okay, 2020. Yeah, he played 56 games out of the. What did they play? 60.
Yeah, they played 60 that year.
And then the next year, 2021, he played 68. Then in 2022, he played 98. Last year, he played 145. This year, so far, he's played 11.
Yeah. No, it's gonna plague him like it plagued fuck, I can't even remember.
But
But it plays
if
a lot
you're
of guys. It's going to plague him for a while until he gets consistently healthy. If he plays the rest of this year and half of next year, and there's no real major injury, I think they're going to get a boatload for him.
I think you get more now just because of all the control. I don't think that you get more if you wait another year and a half. Yeah, as opposed to a year and a half. Yeah, you get
I'm
more.
saying 1 year, and not really a year and a half, but I get what you're saying. But you still got 2.5 years of control when you're trading them.
Yeah,
you can
but
even
what do you?
at the end of next year? The teams have 2 years of control over them. Come on,
He's on the trade block. I'm not just making this up. I'm just saying if I'm the Cubs, I'm not giving up prospects for that.
No, you don't have to. You won't have to. You have other players. You don't need a center fielder.
No, the Cubs need a third baseman and they need a power bat.
No, yeah, they don't need somebody who no, you don't need a center fielder.
And I don't know if the third baseman comes in the form of Matt Shaw over the next couple of months. I don't know if the power bat comes through. It's going to have to come through trade because they don't have it anywhere in their system unless you're talking about maybe Owen Casey coming up. But again, that's another problem with the Cubs. When I talk to people about this, when I talk to sports people about the Cubs making a trade, they're like, why would you give up prospects to make a trade for Vlad Guerrero Jr. or for any bullpen help? Because you've got prospects that aren't going to have anywhere to play over the next 5 years. The top 5 or 10 guys in your system, minus Ballesteros, who's a catcher, and you're probably going to need a catcher in the next year or so. Beyond that, you've got outfield, middle infielders, and a starting pitcher are your top 10 prospects. What are you doing with that right now? Huh?
Who are these people?
Well, one guy's name is Scott Kiefer, who I do a radio show with, and he laughed and scoffed at the idea that I said the Cubs should trade their top 3 prospects for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And he said it's going to take more than 3 prospects. He said it's going to take more than 3 prospects to get Vlad Guerrero Jr. because it took more than 3 prospects for the White Sox to get rid of Adam Eaton.
And
I was like,
traded almost
yes,
MLB.
And not only that, but it was a trade that was made in the off season, and the Nats got a full season of control as opposed to a 3-month rental.
Yeah,
so a completely different scenario.
Yeah, and it was a dumb trade. Everybody said it at the time. They got Giolito, who was, at his best, maybe a 1, but definitely a 2 or 3, in his years. Ronaldo Lopez had a good starting year and a good relief year. Yeah, he kind of sucked at the end, but now he's showing how good he is. And then Dane Dunning, gave him a pretty good year and then turned into Lance Lynn, who gave him a great year in 21. I mean, they're still getting stuff off that fucking trade.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. That's a dumb trade. You're not going to do that.
Yeah, no,
and they're not giving away prospects like they were back in 2015, 2016 anymore. That's not happening. You're not getting the top prospect anymore from a team. It's just not happening anymore.
The Cubs could give up Cade Horton, who is their top prospect. Not only is he their top prospect, but he's also a young pitcher that already has back issues. He's on the IL right now with the back problems. So yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, and you can get another team that's trying to unload to bite on something like that just because he's a number 1 prospect, and they look at the number as opposed to the player. A team like the Oakland A's or the Toronto Blue Jays, you could get that to happen. But when you look at the Cubs' top prospects, when you're talking about Owen Casey is his ETA for the Cubs is 2025. But right now in 2025, already on the payroll, if Bellinger's contract or Bellinger's season continues the way it is, he's opting into his contract. So you got him on the contract next year. You've still got 4 more years of Seiya Suzuki after this year. You've still got Ian Happ for another 3 years after this year. So where's Owen Casey playing? You look at Kelvin Alcantara, also an outfielder. You look at James Triantos, the second baseman. Where's he playing? He's not going to short. He's not going to second. You're not knocking off Nico Horner or Dansby Swanson over the next 2 or 3 years. You're talking about Jefferson Rojas, who's a shortstop. Fernando Cruz is a shortstop. these are the guys in your top 10. You've got so many players that play the same position with nowhere to go right now because you've got so many guys that are already under contract who are young enough to keep going. So what are you going to keep doing? Are you trading? Are you going to trade Nico Horner? If you don't want to trade these prospects, who are you trading so these prospects can play?
Yeah, I mean, no, that's why you do. That's why you stack prospects so you can trade for talent that's proven talent that you can almost pen in what they're going to do in a year or somewhat. Pete Alonso, if he's healthy, he's going to hit a lot of home runs for you. And in an era, I mean, we can call it an era now where people just aren't hitting.
Yeah,
you need a stick, and you definitely need a stick on this team. And I think you need 2 bullpen arms. And you're going to trade some of your talent for that. They're not just going to give it away. That's not how it works. And yes, that talent might end up being good, but that's why you scout your own talent. You have to scout your own talent better than anybody else in the league. That's what you got to do. Yeah. So you scout your own talent. You get rid of one of those guys that you don't think is going to make it. And if he does, there's nothing you can do about that. Once he's gone, you're selling the long term for the short term here now. Or you could stay 500 for another 2 years. I mean, I don't know what Cubs fans want. You can't have everything.
Right.
You can't have the farm system
and that's why
to fill the gaps.
And that's why a blockbuster Toronto makes a ton of sense. I mean, they're already starting to unload. They just DFA'd Kevin Biggio. He hasn't been having a great year, but they just DFA'd him. You know what I mean? And you've got Vladimir Guerrero Jr. They've got a guy named Jordan Romano, who's their closer, who's got a good arm. He's on the IL right now, but I want to say it was because of a blister. I can't remember exactly why, but they've also got a couple of guys in their bullpen. So maybe it's a blockbuster trade. Maybe you get their closer in Romano. Maybe you get Vlad Guerrero Jr. Maybe you do give up 3 or 4 of your top 10 prospects in order to do it, but it instantly makes you a contender this year. All of a sudden, your pitching staff becomes better than what I already think that their pitching staff, even with the bullpen woes, is already better than what the Dodgers have. I really do believe that. Then now when it comes to other teams like the Philadelphia Phillies, the Atlanta Braves, no, they're behind the curve on those guys, right? But when you're looking at the lineup as a whole, you add Vladimir Guerrero Jr., just one piece to this lineup, it's a pretty stacked lineup. You imagine Chris Morel hitting ahead of Vlad Guerrero Jr. or hitting behind Vlad Guerrero Jr., getting that sort of protection?
Yeah, you got something now.
You sandwich
pitches anymore. Maybe you can have that average go up a little bit.
You sandwich Cody Bellinger and Christopher Morel with whether it is, and it might not even be Vlad Guerrero Jr. I'm telling you, it could be Pete Alonso too. I mean, obviously you'd rather have Vlad, right? I mean, he's that guy. And so he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. If you think you can get a deal done with him and you think that the numbers are going to work and you get to talk to his camp ahead of time, you've got to make that move. And I don't care what it costs you. And the fact that you've got so many expendable pieces in your minor league system, now's the time. Your window is the next 3 or 4 years. This year and the next 3 or 4 years. That's your window right now. So you got to go and do it.
Yeah, I don't think you have any choice at this point.
Jed doesn't make it another 2 years if they don't win.
Worst place to be is middle of the pack. When it comes to the team is to keep going 500. I don't know how that helps you. And to be just as good as the Cincinnati Reds should not be good enough for you, should not be good enough for this payroll. They should be doing better, and the farm system for that matter. They should be playing better. And if not, then they have to fill the gaps where they're not. That's the point of having those top prospects in there. I see no reason why they shouldn't.
No, I agree. And they absolutely have to do something. I don't know if they wait till the deadline. The other rumor that I heard that kind of scared the crap out of me was they might lose out on Pete Alonso to the Brewers. And if you're not planning on going to get Vlad and you're going to lose out on Pete Alonso to the Brewers, you're sunk. You're sunk.
Yeah, that's tough.
So you've got to do something. No, I don't. I have no idea. No idea. I still think that their pitching is better than what the Brewers have. I don't think the Brewers have the pitching I don't know how the Brewers are winning. I know they've played a really soft schedule over the last week and a half. They've played a much tougher schedule, and they have not. I think they're 3-7 in the last 10 games. So the Brewers have come back down to earth a little bit, but the Cubs just haven't done anything to take advantage of that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look at any other players they could possibly get, but I think those. I don't.
The only other arm I could think of is Oakland. You can try to go get Mason Miller, but for a guy with 6 years of control, what do you think you're going to get him for?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, maybe you can fleece the Vegas / Oakland / we want to play in other places A's on a deal. Maybe you can give them Nick Magical for Mason Miller and they'll take it. But I don't see that happening. I see you're going to have to give up prospects to get an arm like that. A guy who can throw 100+, every time that he's out. You're going to have to give something up for that. Everything else, when you start looking at other teams around the league, I mean, where are you going? Do you want any of Colorado's pitchers? Probably not.
Taylor Scott, Astro, pretty good.
The Diamondbacks aren't going to sell after the run that they had last year late. They're only 4 games under 500. They're not going to sell.
Not yet.
You don't need anything from the Cardinals because you don't do business with the Cardinals or the Reds.
Would you?
Yeah.
Really, why would you?
In the Marlins, I mean, maybe you can go get a guy like Nardi, one of their relievers or something, one of those guys who can throw hard. But it just you need so much more than that. So a blockbuster is what makes the most sense.
Boris. So now you'll have another Boris player if you get Alonso.
I don't want a lot. I'll be honest with you. I don't want
another negative.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I don't want no part of Alonso unless it's to block Milwaukee from getting him.
And then what are you doing there?
You're taking a chance, but I mean, you're probably not for Alonso. You can probably get him for one top prospect and a couple of mid-level prospects. Whereas I think Vlad, you're going to have to pay through the roof for. The Mets are more desperate than the Blue Jays are to get rid of people.
Yeah. No, it looks like they are. I mean, I just don't know why they wouldn't trade for Alonso in the offseason then. But
yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. Maybe they thought they had everything with, making the trade for Michael Busch. Maybe they thought that was the whole. Maybe that was their first baseman of the future, and they're finding out now that he had a good start. He's starting to swing the bat a little bit better again, but you don't know if he's going to be that guy, and that's the same thing you're getting out of all these prospects that you're going to have to trade. Sure, they might turn into something, but you're trading them for somebody who's something now. And not somebody who's something 5 years from now, because 4 or 5 years from now, by the time that Owen Casey or Triantos or Alcantara, by the time that those guys become something, all your other guys that you were going to use around them are gone, or they're too old to be relevant.
People try to apply other sports onto baseball, and you just can't do that. None of them are surefire. Look at the Sox. Look at the Padres.
Yeah.
Look at the Blue Jays. All 3 teams were the most exciting, talented young teams out there.
Right.
4 years ago.
Yep.
What the fuck happened to them?
Right.
A couple of playoff losses and a cloud of fucking dust.
Yep. Oakland.
You know how that ends.
The Oakland A's were in the playoffs a few years ago.
Yeah, they were.
They were young and hungry.
In 2020.
Yeah.
They beat the Sox in 2020. They had Sox old closer.
Mm-hmm. Liam Hendricks.
Yeah.
Yep.
And a bunch of good players that they ended up trading off to fucking be the Cleveland Indians of the movie Major League.
They can't develop they've developed players. If you're talking about the Cubs have developed plenty of players. Or are you talking about all the teams that were young and where are they now?
She could be. The Cubs have done a good job.
But either way, I mean, look, the Blue Jays have done a good job too. They've never really just put it together. It's one of those. They've got some, like Bo Bichette is a monster.
Yeah.
Vlad Guerrero is a monster. They've got a decent pitching staff, but they missed on a couple over there in Toronto. They missed on, oh God, what was his name? The kid that they got from Oakland was a horrendous signing. What the hell is his name? The Samoan dude. Blah blah blah. Oh God, why can't I think of his name? I'm gonna think of it here. Alek Manoah.
There you go.
Alek Manoah has been atrocious. I mean, just an atrocious signing. And he was good for 1 year in Oakland. And I believe it was that 2020 year. And he was good for like the 8 games that he pitched. And then all of a sudden he was terrible. Just absolute terrible.
Yeah, I mean, you make a couple of those bad signings, and you're, especially if you're the Blue Jays and, you know, a guy's taking a plane ride to be on your team in the offseason, he doesn't quite make it.
Yeah.
He stops in LA with the Dodgers. That's
right.
Shohei Ohtani. That's still a bizarre story to me.
But I mean, they've still got Jose Barrios. They've still got Kevin Gausman. They've still got some really solid pitchers.
Up and down, but he's a talented pitcher. Yeah.
They also play in one of the toughest divisions in the league to play in over the last 40 years.
You gotta be.
The AL East has been since the mid '90s has been the division in baseball.
The Yankees came to play this year. I mean, even the Red Sox have been okay.
Yeah,
to good, and yeah, you got Tampa, who's always
Baltimore.
The best.
Baltimore's 42. Everybody's talking about the Yankees came to ball. Baltimore's 2 games behind them at 42 and 22.
True.
I mean, it's a really good division. The Red Sox are at 500. The Blue Jays are only a game under 500. You know, but it happens. It just happens. Sometimes those teams that are supposed to be good just aren't, for whatever reason.
Thank God the Sox and Cubs aren't in that division. Sox or Cubs.
Oh yeah, they'd be in the basement every year.
Goddamn playoffs. I mean, it's just and then that's what Baltimore is winning the World Series. Here we go.
I mean, it was my pick at the beginning of the year, wasn't it?
Oh God, here we go.
Crazy.
I had Baltimore over Atlanta. Baltimore in October.
Wait, I'm going to go back to the tape. I thought you had Philadelphia.
No. I mean, you know what? You're right. I did. Baltimore over Philadelphia. You're right.
I think you did.
Yeah. Or Philadelphia over Baltimore. One of the. I have them. Baltimore and Philly in the World Series.
Philly's best team in the league, I think.
Yeah. Then Atlanta losing Acuna is going to really sting.
Mm-hmm.
They've lost 3 in a row. The Braves have. But Philly, I mean, look, when it comes to Baltimore is better than the Yankees pitching wise in October. That's the problem with the Yankees. Yankees are built for 162. They're not built for October though.
Yeah, I don't know how Brian Cashman's kept his job this long. I mean, he's like the rich man's Dave Dombrowski, and Dave Dombrowski bounced around. You know, he just won the last title with the Red Sox. He was with Detroit, where he just comes in and spends money and trades away a bunch of prospects, and then flies on the coattails of another general manager that either didn't spend a lot of money or got a lot of good prospects. That's basically what he does, and that's what Cashman's been doing for years. I think the team's in balance, but they've been playing pretty good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I want to get to something, but before we do, we're going to get to Fitzgibbous. I called you the other day and you didn't call me back, which is not a surprise.
What?
You never call me back.
What?
But I called you on Friday because I heard something.
More. Why?
I heard something on Friday and I want to get to it, but I want to get to Fitzgibbous first and then we'll talk about it.
What did you hear? Wait a second. You can't do that.
It's called a tease.
All right.
You son of a bitch. Get the Fitzgibbous.
There we go. It's Fitzgibbous. It's a diatribe. It's a conspiracy theory, and it's an island in the middle of unapologetic and sometimes inaccurate sports talk. I don't know if we did that good today. We forgot a lot of names.
You forgot the Stanley Cup.
Names. I did not forget the fucking Stanley Cup. Shut up. I'll fucking stab you in the throat.
It's not. You called it the NHL Cup. You forgot the name of it.
I just said I was in a. You're doing this anyway. Welcome to Fitz Gibberish. In the now classic movie, There Will Be Blood. Daniel Day-Lewis, I'm sure you didn't see it, Combs, but anyway, Daniel Day-Lewis's character, Daniel Plainfield, famously says, I have a competition in me. I want no one else to succeed. I hate most people. It goes without saying in the movie, this quote is not to be taken as a net positive. Or now, in this great country, was it a net positive? Because these days, this kind of competitiveness, I can't even talk.
Holy hell.
Is seen as a virtue. Look no further than this year's White Sox Cubs series, which does its level best to prove Chicago is the largest trashy hick town in America. Yes, there was another fight in the Crosstown Classic. Take it away, scumbags. Did you see those two ladies holding the fat guy back?
Yeah, I have no idea. It's so stupid. This is why I don't go to Cubs versus Sox. I don't go to the Crosstown Classic, and this is why. People are dumb.
And people can move out of the way while they're filming. I mean, I know it's not Scorsese, but come on, let's see the fight a little bit.
Yeah.
Can someone tell the NFL that you can get a concussion from being a spectator in Chicago too? Maybe you could stop turning your sport into flag football. Anyway,
they would set the Giants up on 47th Street wearing blue.
Yeah. Anyway, this just doesn't happen in sports anymore, but everywhere. Business, politics, and yes, even patriotism. Hate to bring out the old man in me and saber rattle. But back in my day, kiddies, sports were fun. Sports were competitive, but sports were not life. We didn't want to burn down the country because our political opponent beat us. And that goes for both sides, both the Republicans and the Democrats, which is why the biggest party right now, or quasi party in the nation, is independence. Yes, people who don't give a shit about either of you motherfuckers. Yeah. Did you hear that that two-party system you have now? You've both turned into the drunk uncle at a family party no one talks to because it's like negotiating a landmine. When I was young, it was country way before party. But now we'll allow it to turn into a wasteland before we give our political rivals a win. The Republicans stall the Democrats, and the Democrats do the same thing to Republicans when they are in power, until our bridges start falling down on us, for Christ's sake. And they don't have to be hit by a barge either. If you listen to enough Fitz Gibberishes, you know that someone probably already said it better than I did. But another dumb fight at a Sox Cubs game had me remembering an old Rick and Morty episode where the Mortys are going against the much smarter older Ricks.
Oh God, we're gonna get kicked off Twitch.
I'd like to thank my niece Isabel for turning me on to Rick and Morty. I don't know if you've checked it out, Combs.
Hopefully your niece isn't watching. We are now very safe for kids.
Thank you, Isabel. I love you.
Candidate Morty, the number of displaced Mortys is soaring, while Rick's satisfaction levels are plummeting, and the divide between the two groups has never been wider. Solve that one real quick. I don't see a divide between Ricks and Mortys. Oh, shocker. I'd like to offer a rebuttal. Gentlemen, I think we can all agree on one thing. Well, it came out as two things, but you get the idea. You guys finished? The division I see is between the Ricks and Mortys that like the Citadel divided and the rest of us. I see it everywhere I go. I see it in our schools, where they teach Mortys we're all the same because they're threatened by what makes us unique. I see it in our streets, where they give guns to Mortys, so we're too busy fighting each other to fight real injustice. I see it in our factories, where Ricks work for a fraction of their boss's salary, even though they're identical and have the same IQ. The Citadel's problem isn't homeless Mortys or outraged Ricks. The Citadel's problem is the Ricks and Mortys feeding on the Citadel's death. Holy sh**. He's headed for the Flavor Core! But I've got a message for them. From the Ricks and Mortys keeping it alive. A message from the Ricks and Mortys that believe in this Citadel to the Ricks and Mortys that don't. You're outnumbered.
And stop fighting in the goddamn stands. And that's Fitz gibberish. Combs.
What the hell just happened?
That is not the first time you said that at the end of a Fitz gibberish.
It probably won't be the last. Probably will not be the last. No, look, fighting in the stand, it's just stupid, man. I will never fight over my team. It's just not something that I love
You're my
the
political
game
candidate, for that matter.
I love the game. I love my team. I love, all of that, but I'm not fighting over it at all. John Fitzgibbon says Cashman has 5 World Series wins and has only missed a playoff 6 times since 1995. Name another. First of all,
And he has a $400 million payroll.
They've only won 4 since he's been in, because he took over in 98. So he did not win the 97 World Series. He won the 98, 99, 2000, and then 2009. But that 98, 99, and 2000 teams were handed to him. That team was already built in 1995.
Williams, Paul O'Neill,
it had nothing. It had nothing to do. No, he took over in 98, John. He took over in 98. I know. I bet you. I'll bet you your entire bank account versus my entire bank account.
You know what? You guys should fight. You guys should fight each other.
It would be 98 is when he took over.
Like collaborating. Let's just fight.
They've won 4 World Series underneath him, and that team was handpicked for. It was hand delivered to him. It wasn't even his team. He's won 1 World Series on a team that he's built. That was 2009. And I'm in. It was 2009. And looked to me like the Cubs fans started the fight. But anyway, 2009 was the only team. But the problem with Cashman is he goes out and he gets the lineups, he gets the guys that can hit, but he bargain shops for pitching year after year after year, and that's why they don't win. Because when it comes to October, pitching is what plays, and the Yankees just never have enough of it because Brian Cashman doesn't buy pitching. He just doesn't.
That's why I said he's a rich man's Dombrowski. Dombrowski's won a couple of the old GM that I was talking about before we went down that rabbit hole of a Fitz gibberish. Dombrowski, that's how he wins. And yeah, I mean, he wasn't really huge on pitching. He would always have these like super teams. He got Miguel Cabrera to come to Detroit, things like that. He built, a team wants to start spending and has, a farm system he can freaking liquidate. He'll go to that team. That's what Brian Cashman's done a lot of. Now, I'm not going to say he's bad. Dombrowski wasn't a bad GM. He's just not a great one. He's just not a great one.
And Brian Cashman's been a good GM, but there's been better GMs than him. Give me the GM of the Dodgers. Give me the GM of the Atlanta Braves.
What's his name? Feldman or no?
But
okay.
They just don't pay anyway. Even you look at teams like the Miami Marlins, who develop talent like crazy. They just don't pay it when it's time to pay it. I mean,
I would even put Billy Beane as better than Cashman. He built a lot of good teams with fucking a shoestring budget there in Oakland.
Yeah. So me and your brother are in agreement, John. So fuck you.
Yeah.
Way to bring us together, John.
Let's go.
Oh God,
number, John.
Yeah. But no, I mean, look, Brian Cashman is a good GM. He's not great. He gets credit for 3 World Series that aren't his team. They just weren't. He didn't draft any of those guys. He didn't trade for any of those guys. Those guys were already there.
No, and then the rest was just, patchwork with a lot of money. And even back then, there was no Dodgers team.
And when he
then.
did make a move in 2002,
really
after they lost in 2001 in Game 7, when he made a move in 2002, it was for an aging Jose Canseco. The genius of a move.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, there wasn't a lot of teams. The Red Sox weren't what the Red Sox were, not until later on, and not until 2004, really. In 2000, maybe 2003, they started building that 2004 team.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, they just bought players. They bought Giambi. They bought Damon. They bought,
Yeah, even after Damon, I mean, they cherry picked the Red Sox for a long time. I mean, Damon, they went and got Jacoby Ellsbury.
Then Damon went from the Red Sox to the Yankees.
Yeah, Ellsbury did the same thing, and but that was a bad move by the Yankees. Johnny Damon was a bad move by the Yankees. None of those guys really went to New York and excelled.
The same way Gruden gets credit for the Super Bowl. I don't know. I thought Gruden was a good coach. It's hard to win with all those egos, just like GMs with shoestring budgets. So fuck you. Yeah, but I think that's harder for the manager. What's the GM doing about the egos? It's not like Brad Pitt is walking into the fucking batting cages and yelling at David Justice. Like in Moneyball.
Right.
That's not happening.
Yeah.
Maybe it is.
He signs players and tells the coach to handle them.
Maybe it is happening. I don't know if Brian Cashman's doing that. Isn't he like 5'4"?
Yeah.
Billy Bean was an ex-player. Billy Bean was an ex-player.
Yeah,
if Williams was doing that shit.
If Brian Cashman got smart with somebody, like, can you imagine Brian Cashman saying something to Aaron Judge? Aaron Judge would dunk him in milk and eat him like a freaking Oreo.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
He's not saying anything to him. But anyway, so before we did Fitz Gibberish, I said that I had called you on Friday, which you didn't answer, and then you didn't call me back. I did.
Never got this call.
I definitely did. But anyway, at any rate, go ahead. I mean, you better delete it before you show, because you're going to see, oh shit, you did call me.
Okay,
go on. You want me to give you a time? A timestamp?
Give me a timestamp.
All right. I called you on Friday. Whoop. I just called you again because I hit the wrong button. But I called you on Friday at 11:39
p.m.
a.m.
Oh, I do have a day job. I was
on my way. I was on my way to my graduation ceremony that you said if I would have reminded you, you would have come to, but you don't answer your phone. So how can I remind you about anything?
See the call.
But anyway, let me ask you a question. If I told you right now to bet on your favorite for NFL Coach of the Year, who's your front runner?
I'll tell you who it's not going to be. It's not going to be fucking Eberflus.
Okay, so I'm asking you, who was your front runner
for Coach of the Year?
Yeah.
How about Mike McDaniel?
Okay.
The Dolphins.
Mike McDaniel, or you probably even John Harbaugh is probably up there.
Yeah,
Jim Harbaugh is probably up there.
Jimmy Harbaugh.
Yeah. The D'Amico Ryans from the Houston Texans, they're all up there.
They were already good. See, the Chargers didn't make the playoffs. Usually they like to give guys like that if he flipped them.
Dan Campbell would be up there. Well, Vegas odds came out on
here we go
on Coach of the Year, and right now Matt Eberflus is the leading candidate for Coach of the Year at 9-1 odds.
Yeah, all right. I'll see you guys there.
9-1 odds that Matt Eberflus. I mean, he's over D'Amico Ryans, he's over Jim Harbaugh, he's over everybody else.
I won't
9-1 odds.
I won't be making that bet.
Is there any plan? We both expect the Bears to be a lot better than what they have been, right? They put themselves in a great position to compete for this division already with a rookie quarterback, but they put a rookie quarterback in the best position any quarterback in this organization has ever been in.
Yes.
Did you see a situation where they're better than Houston, where they're better than the Chargers, where they're better than the Lions, where Matt Eberflus is thought of as the coach of the year. The fact that DeMeco Ryans, with the year that Houston had last year, did not win coach of the year means to me that this is tough as hell for Matt Eberflus. They would damn near have to go like 15-2 and to be coach of the year, right? Like
that, it would have to be how they won, because they would have to, have just an okay offense, and their defense would have to be just lights out, which I don't see that happening. I don't think they have the defensive line for it, but yeah, I just don't see that. I don't see that happening. I mean, if they're 10-7 or 11-6, if he wins, that's bullshit. You had a lot of bad coaches that year then, because they were 7-10 last year, and they should have probably won a couple more games. I mean, they could still be. I mean, you could still show me a 12-5 team where he almost lost you 2 or 3 games. Where I'm not calling him the best coach.
There's no way, right? Like I give the guy all the credit in the world for
word soup.
Well, I know, but he has got, like, he does not sound like the same person. He's definitely gotten some coaching on it.
He went and did ayahuasca with Joe Rogan.
He might have done something like that, but what I'm saying is I give him credit for working on his flaws, for recognizing his flaws and working on them. But I don't see a way where you're the coach of the year. I see a way where you're fired by week 6 more than I see a way that you're the coach of the year.
Fan. They're the same. I'm sorry. Until I get further proof, this is the same fucking organization that for the last 20 years has been shit, other than a couple of years with Lovie Smith. This is the same organization that even before that was shit.
Yeah.
This is the same organization that traded for Rick Meyer. This is the same organization that brought Matt Nagy in here and John Fox before him. I don't care about John Fox's fucking track record. He didn't know he was just done.
This is the same organization that traded up to number 11 to pick a rookie quarterback and then go and sign Andy Dalton for him to sit behind for a year.
Yeah. And have their number 1 wide receiver. Instead of going out and getting a number 1 wide receiver, they get Andy Dalton. And then Darnell Mooney is your number 1 wide receiver, which by all rights, with the stats last year, was one of the worst wide receivers in football. His 50-50 balls were like 9%. I think we read the stats the one week. He was terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, and he was your number 1 wide receiver for 2 years. I mean, and then they had this was the perfect year to get a new coach, and they didn't do it. So I don't want to hear the crap. I already hear them saying that they might go to the Super Bowl. I don't see it. I'll tell you right now, I don't see
that. I see them being a team that can compete for the North and maybe not lose in the first round of the playoffs. I don't see them going to the Super Bowl. I think they're probably a year, maybe even 2 for that, but John Fitzgibbon says Glennon for $18 million for the win.
Yeah, exactly.
Thing. Yeah, I don't see a spot where they're in the Super Bowl this year. I mean, unless every other team on the planet dies, I don't see a spot where they're in the Super Bowl. But I do see them being vastly better. To me, there's no way he's the coach of the year. I'm not betting that at 9, not even at 9-1. I'm not betting that.
Now he's saying that Eberflus was cloned and they removed his flaws. It's possible. Anything's possible now. UFOs are real, I guess.
He looks like a different person. He really does look like a different person.
He does.
Have you watched any of his interviews yet?
I watched a couple, but this is with no stress. No stress at all. He's doing and everybody's like, he's so great. But wait till
he doesn't have to think on the fly yet.
Wait till they come out and they don't start anybody in preseason, and then they come out flat for the first 3 games. Let's see what he does then.
There's no way that happens, right?
Montez Sweat. They've done it the last 2 years. Why would
rookie wide receiver, rookie quarterback, new offensive line, new offense, new everything. Why
offensive line? It's not new.
Okay, well, but they're working with everything. You got a new center.
That's it. Both
Well,
guys are the same. Nate Davis is already skipping practices. Kevin Jenkins is going to be hurt next week.
why do you have to go to practice if you're just blocking air?
I'm saying you're working in a brand new offense. Everybody tells me about how technical and how many parts have to come together for an offensive line. They got to play for fucking 10 years together and eat food together and fuck together or whatever the hell they have to do. I mean, they have to do all this stuff together. Then Nate Davis isn't there. Now, last year, his mom died, so I gave him a year. Year's up, dude.
It was the anniversary.
Oh, God. It was not, was it?
Yes.
Fuck off. It wasn't. You're making that up.
Well, I mean, if it was a year ago, it's got to be close at least, right?
Well, no, this was like a game he missed.
Oh, I thought it was OTAs.
I gotta stop. I can't.
Unbelievable.
Because I'm prepared to fuck somebody up. So you can take it as what it is.
Mike McDaniel was always also a heavy drinker, so whatever, Doubting Thomas.
Same physique as a
Is Anton Shakur moniker trying to act
Mike
all
McDaniel has the same physique as a current Ryan Fitz.
What the hell are you talking about? Did you see Tommy Pham? That's how I look.
Yeah, you look like yes, you do. You
people up.
One-run ball game.
do you see that? You look exactly like his left bicep.
Should have cloned his mom. Oh my,
my God. Where are we going? Red Zone party is edibles and a gallon of mixed drink weekly.
Oh,
There
wow.
we go. There we go. We're going to do a show from Shanna's house one day.
Yeah.
Shanna's got a new house. Shanna, you got a spot for us to come do a show there?
I'll go. Isn't she right outside Nashville?
Yeah, we're gonna come down to Tennessee for a weekend. We're gonna do a show.
We'll bring back.
You're gonna be, you and your husband are gonna be our guests on the show, and we're gonna have edibles and we're gonna watch Red Zone. We're gonna get so fucked up. We're gonna forget to do the show.
Yeah. Can we do it? I'm not sure. I'm not really sure.
I'm not. I don't know. I don't know what happened. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, coach of the year for me is out. I
just think we do this now. Like this, there's been like a seismic shift in sports where we say that prospects are a fucking team. They aren't.
Yeah.
That we say, a coach is just going to change all of a sudden and be good. He's not. Come to my house and take a bath. What a weirdo. After 20,000 steps and you pass out in your bathtub, you're going to drown yourself. You won't even remember to go live by the time I'm done. Well, so half the time we do forget to go live when we're sober.
Oh, God.
I mean, this is what we're doing now, really. I mean, the same thing with the Cubs, and you're talking to the one guy. They don't want to give away draft. They don't want to give away their farm or part of their farm system. Why?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
You got guys, you just named them, Seiya Suzuki, Bellinger. Caleb Williams can be great. He looks like he was the best quarterback I saw in the draft, and I don't think it was that close. Yeah. I mean, I really like Jalen Daniels too, but he's still just a fucking prospect. He's never played before. College is way different than the NFL. Way different.
So John Fitzgibbon says, what will the Bears record be then? I have them at 12-5. I can see them anywhere from 11-6 to 13-4, but I did pick 12-5.
I have them at 10 or 11 wins. We've said it already.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's
if you would listen every once in a while, John. I know you post and tell other people to listen, but you actually should listen.
Massive changes. It's very hard. I want to see what happens. I do actually want to see what they do in the preseason if they actually have these guys start. And I've never been this guy. But last year, no one fucking played. They were not ready in that Green Bay game at all.
They weren't ready for the first 5 weeks of the fucking season.
Exactly.
And Eberflus kept his job.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that. What other team where a head coach has lost this much and the two guys he hired, one's fucking sending people dong pics. The other one, we still don't know why he was fired. And
He was also sending people dong pics, but they were young.
I mean, remember did he get rated? Did Ellis Hall get rated? We didn't, everything's falling apart and he gets rehired and everything's okay because he shaves the side of his fucking head and grows a beard. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like the Bears fans are still retarded. Wait a second. Now that Jeremiah said it, now I'm in a fucking lather, Jeremiah. This is the same guy that puts on Facebook today, Ryan Fitzgibbons, there's an unnecessary amount of baggage with being a Chicago fan. The Sox should set up a grief counseling area next to the fundamentals decks. Parents can see a counselor while the children can hone their skills. I think he said, hone their skills in hopes that one day they can be traded by the Chicago White Sox. The same motherfucker's telling me this guy's going to be a good coach now?
He doesn't think Eberflus is the coach. He thinks Eberflus's clone is going to be a good coach.
It's going to be a good coach. Yeah. And they took away all the bad attributes.
Right, yeah.
This guy that fucking got beat by Joe Flacco, who was bagging groceries in the offseason last season. The guy scores like fucking 100 points off him in the fourth quarter. Including the play where he had the tackle guarding one of the most athletic tight ends in the league.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say the guy's name because I always fuck it up. What was his name? Mbuku?
Njoku. My God. Anyway, Brandon,
I don't think this broadcasting thing's gonna work out.
I mean, it might work out for me. I don't know about you though. Oh my God.
Anyway.
But, yeah, look, I don't I'm full on delusional. I don't do anything halfway. But yeah, no, I don't see it with Matt Eberflus at all. I just don't. We got NHL and NBA playoffs finals, actually, I should say.
Yeah.
The NBA finals game 2 is happening right now.
You look really closely in this reflection here.
I don't know what the last time I looked, Dallas had the lead. It was a small lead. They were up by like 2 or 3.
Yeah. Anyway, Dallas wins this thing.
I picked Dallas in 7.
Really?
I did. I think Dallas matches up really well with Boston. I think that they can steal one here. If they steal game 2, I think they could win both in Dallas and come back up 3-1. I really do. I think that Dallas finds a way. And Luka's that dude, man. Luka's a dude. I know the Boston Celtics are really, really good. So if the Boston Celtics sweep this thing, that wouldn't shock me either. Because the Boston Celtics are really fucking good, man. They don't lose a whole lot.
Brown.
Yeah. And I don't believe they've lost back-to-back games all year. They're 12-2 in the postseason. So they are really good. Don't get me wrong. I think that Porzingis coming back for them was a huge because they're a different team with Porzingis.
Obviously, yeah.
But Dallas matches up with them really, really well on all ends of the floor, position for position. I think Boston might be a little bit of a deeper bench than what Dallas has, but Dallas is
a team. They got the more complete team.
Yeah.
That's obvious.
They're just not going to go away quietly.
Kyrie's tough too, man. I mean, I didn't see, maybe I should have saw Dallas going this far, but I didn't. I really had Minnesota. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I still think that Anthony Edwards thing ain't going away, but I agree. I don't see how they beat Boston, but they steal this game. They got a shot. I mean, I thought Boston was a pretty good team last year, and they got a lot better this year.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that Miami just caught them at a bad time last year. I still don't know how Jimmy Buckets won that series.
Jeremiah says, I had the grand opening of the man cave for this game. Hey, sick invite, Jeremiah. Sick invite.
What the fuck? Who's on the little screen?
Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
You got women's basketball on the little screen. By the way,
He's probably got his tub on the little screen.
I've been trying to watch women's basketball, and it's not working.
Dude, I don't know how it's not working for you.
It's not working. I'm trying to be honest here. I'm not going to come here and watch paint dry and say it's fucking exciting.
Just go get the little blue pill. It'll start working again.
Here we go. Here we go.
I mean,
I think we just lost a couple listeners, but anyway. I tried. I can't see another badly missed layup or 3-footer. That's
it's part of the game. You don't see air balls and badly missed shots in an NBA game.
Women, I love women.
They have guys take. I'm clipping that one. I'm clipping that one for Nicole. Just so you know, I'm clipping that for Nicole. Just the I love women part.
Not a college basketball, because college basketball, the talent level is, and you have to admit this too, it's way lower than it was when we were younger.
Yeah,
we saw Derrick Rose fucking playing whoever the fuck hell, but it was crazy. I mean, there was NBA players playing college basketball all the time. Now there's a few here or there, but
I just wrote it down, timestamp for I love women.
I'm a fan of women.
It's all right. So
big fan.
Let me get that one too. Hold on. 106.
My mom was a woman. My mom was a woman.
She still is a woman.
But I mean, tough. You know, Caitlin Clark, I guess, has a fun style of playing, and now that they're fighting each other and throwing each other around, I want to see more of that. I mean, maybe if they fight during the games.
They kind of do fight during the games. Did you not see the fact that Caitlin Clark is getting suplexed in every game?
I should be the commissioner of women's basketball, because they should go full on minor league baseball with this thing.
We just go, what was that old Nintendo game? Was it called Arch Rivals, where you can steal the basketball by punching your opponent in the face?
There you go. Or even you can even put NBA Jam in there.
They've always kind of been dirty. I was watching some highlights like from the past of WNBA players like being dirty. Dude, these women got a mean streak in them, man.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I like that. Maybe we should have more of that. Like they could fight like after the game or something like that. I don't know.
Incorporate like chokeholds and stuff. Can you imagine Caitlin Clark going up for a layup but getting hit in a rear naked choke?
Yes, exactly. Like kind of like a Cubs White Sox fight. You know, that stuff would never happen in Rate Field.
No, you guys fight each other.
Or first base coaches.
Yeah.
I think that guy still can't hear out of one of his ears. It's not a joke either.
Oh my God.
It's just
so bad.
Fun bit for the women to fight at halftime. I'm just spitballing here. I think we can really take this.
That doesn't sound sexist at all.
Clark thing, is going to blow over. It's going to be another thing like when John McEnroe would yell at tennis and everybody watched tennis for like 4 years.
What do you think about her not going to the Olympics? Not being selected to the Olympic team.
I don't know if she decided not to go. I fucking hate the Olympics. And I'll go off on the Olympics right now too. I don't know why this is happening, but you say Eberflus is going to be.
I hate the Olympics.
And then you want to talk about the Olympics? Yeah, the Olympics. What they do is they prop up totalitarian governments. It's fucking obvious.
First of all, I'm just asking about Caitlin Clark, and now we're getting into politics. I'm asking about Caitlin Clark not being selected to the U.S. team.
I can't stop myself. This is me. Deal with it.
All I'm asking is, how do you feel about her not being selected to the U.S. team?
I did not know. I thought the way you were, I did not see that.
So she wasn't selected. It hasn't come out whether or not she was the one that said, hey, I don't want to be a part of it. And I don't blame her for not going. And I think it's a good thing for her to not go. I think that her getting some time off and her getting some rest is really, really good. It has come true that a lot of the things that were being said of her, hey, this is going to be a different league when you come there. You're not going to set it ablaze the way you are. I think that's been shown. Like that's true. She's still a young girl playing against grown women. But I mean, she still has also shown signs of 30-point games, She's also shown signs of being able to still hit 3-pointers. I just think she needs some time off, and I think the not going to the Olympics and actually having an off season will be good for her. Why are you muted?
I burped. I thought she
fucking rookie.
I thought she decided not to go.
No, so well, I don't know. I haven't heard what I read and what I saw was that she was not selected to the U.S. team. I don't know if she decided that. If she did, I'm either way, I'm perfectly fine with it because I think she needs time off anyway.
I guess she didn't make it. Doesn't make the team.
Which doesn't make sense to me because she's already won 3 Olympic gold medals.
Yeah, I mean, she had that long college season, then she comes in and plays professional basketball. Yeah, she didn't.
Or not 3 Olympic gold medals, but she's won 3 gold medals with Team USA. Yeah. So to me personally, I'm fine with it. I don't think that it detracts from her game though. I don't think it's a sign that she's not good. I just think it's a sign that right now there's other people playing. But you don't think that she's better than Diana Taurasi right now? She's absolutely better than Diana Taurasi right now. Well, she's averaging more points per game. She's averaging more rebounds per game. She's averaging more assists per game than Taurasi. But
points.
Taurasi's the GOAT though, right? Like Taurasi's one of the best players of all time in women's basketball.
She has to do it for a sustained period of time.
And it's probably her last Olympics, so you have to. I mean, it's just the last hurrah.
Jeremiah says that they were afraid of how the fans would handle it
if she came off the bench.
I do think this whole thing is kind of weird with her, though. Like, why? I don't really get it. Like, why do they not like her? Like, I don't even care.
Did John change his profile picture in the middle of talking?
He did. He's doing the Doubting Thomas. Except for Doubting Thomas had a Detroit fucking Lions moniker on his for like fucking 4 months because he's a prick.
I don't know. Like, I gotta start taking notes from like actually no, never mind.
What?
On changing your Facebook profile pic like it takes me like 20 minutes to figure out how to change it every single time.
I know.
I'm like, wait, how do you do it again? I'm such an old man.
Me too. Like when I want to check in when I'm watching a good movie with Nicole and she's never seen it, and it's like a movie that everybody's seen, like Back to the Future, and I still don't know how to like tag myself watching the movie, so she has to do it like almost every time. And then after I do it, after she does it for me and I watch her do it, I instantly forget how to do it.
I'm still amazed about how far you and John outkicked your coverage with your spouses. I don't know how you guys did it. I mean, I know for me with Michelle it's roofies. Every day I slip something in the drinks and make sure she don't go nowhere. But
yeah, well, I was sure of that.
Yeah. I just don't know how you get them to not like call the police when your guys aren't home and you're at work and stuff.
I'd like to offer a rebuttal.
I'm not a good rebuttal.
Doubting Thomas, Combs, are you watching NBA? Yes. I have not bet on one WNBA game yet this year.
I don't believe that for a second.
I will. We can go.
Second. That's like you saying you called me on Friday. I don't know who the fuck you called. But you didn't call my phone. Okay,
we doing this again?
Together.
We doing this again?
Use the fucking phone. You just went on a fucking 5-minute diatribe about how you don't even know how to use the fucking phone.
We doing this again?
Stressing me out. I need another beer.
Look at that.
What are you drinking tonight?
It says Ryan Fitzgibbons outgoing call on June 7th at 11:39.
It looks like January 7th.
Well, maybe you need to stop drinking so much beer while you're on the show.
You work for me.
You don't do anything. If someone changes the TV input on the TV, Combs is on the line. No, I'm actually the one taking care of it, actually, in our house.
Xfinity, what the hell?
Yeah.
The cable's out. Old man Combs. So that's old man Combs is calling again. I changed my TV around.
Shanna, don't be giving him excuses. Bullshit.
Oh,
Bullshit.
right.
No. Bullshit.
Yes, nice rebuttal. Better than a fart.
So, John Fitzgibbons, who's going to win the Stanley Cup? We do have to talk about the Stanley Cup Finals. For me,
getting 100 assists this season.
Who?
McDavid.
Yeah,
100 assists.
He's really damn good. I would love to see him win a cup. I really would. But Bobrovsky's just too good. The Panthers are going to win the cup. Bobrovsky's a fucking monster, dude.
Guess
a monster.
TV's call too. I was fucking sleeping.
It was 6:00 at night. You son of a bitch.
Go Oilers, huh?
The furthest distance between two opponents in the history of any sports championship finals, 2,996 miles between stadiums, to be exact.
Jeez.
It's a 7-hour and 10-minute flight from Florida to Edmonton.
Are they playing Calcutta?
Edmonton's up there. I didn't realize how far north in Canada Edmonton was.
It's insane. They have to keep the cars running.
Yeah.
During the game, they have to go out in the second period and start all their cars, or else they'll fucking freeze. The batteries will freeze. There's no battery that'll stay.
It's insane.
Fucking insane.
Yeah.
I heard why Florida's been so good or is so good. I heard hockey players don't make as much as other sports. That the taxes are way less there, and just hockey players are just flocking to Florida. Is there any truth to that?
No, because there's a lot of good hockey players elsewhere, a lot of better hockey players than what they have. They've just got the best goaltender in the world right now. Sergei Bobrovsky is a beast, and they've got a really good defense. Their defense in front of Bobrovsky is probably one of the best defenses in the leagues. They've got probably 6 solid defensemen on that roster.
And the Blackhawks have 0.
Yeah. They're probably got -6. Is what the Blackhawks have. So
let's start a Chicago sports podcast.
So there's another Chicago sports podcast that is based just on the Blackhawks. It's called the Hockey Princess podcast. It is a female who runs the podcast. I listened to it, and it's actually really good. And she's going to come on the show the week before the draft to talk some Blackhawks with
Let's go.
Yeah.
We got 2 hockey people now.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Johnny
actually, I was gonna ask you to sit out that week and have Johnny on the show with me, so we could actually talk hockey with her. I love you.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Because I'm prepared to fuck somebody up.
So, and then he went on the injured list. Only a soccer player talks tough and then goes on the injured list.
Canadian team has not won the cup since 1993.
Jesus.
Hey, I asked somebody who is actually from Calgary today, and I said, I asked them, I said, are you like, is everybody in Canada rooting for Edmonton to win the cup because they bring the cup back to Canada, or is it you guys hate each other so much that? And she said, we hate each other so much that we don't want them to win the cup.
Really?
Yeah, they'd rather the cup go to Florida because they don't want Edmonton
anybody
to win the
hated anybody.
In Canada, you are a team of one. You are a fan of one team, and you are not a fan of the others. It's like soccer in Europe.
We're talking Canada, though. Like the nicest people in the world. What happened?
Speaking of soccer teams in Canada, in Europe, what the hell is the NFL thinking sending 2 teams to Brazil into a stadium where their fans will not allow anybody to wear green, with 2 teams that they send there? Their primary colors are fucking green.
Yeah, I don't know.
From what I'm hearing, it's the reports are not because the reports of it being because of gangs and they have to drive armored vehicles is not true. It's a soccer thing because the stadium that they're playing in, the team, the fans of that team don't allow you to wear green inside the stadium. So those fans have sworn that they are going to line up outside the stadium and they will fight anybody who is wearing green coming into the stadium.
And you asked what that was when I did the Fitz gibberish, and now you have this story you want to talk about.
What?
I'm just saying. Why are they fighting over soccer fans? Way worse.
Are nuts. They're nuts.
Like that fucking that fight, that fucking weird nothing compared to soccer fans.
They will burn down the stadium.
They have gangs.
Yeah.
They have soccer gangs. I forget the name. They've had movies, entire movies about these roving soccer gangs.
So my question is, what does the NFL do with this?
Tuning in late, you're my Citadel present, Uncle Ray. Thank you. At least someone watches Rick and Morty around here. Get some culture, Combs. But go on.
How old is Isabel?
She's 23.
Okay, so she's old enough to watch the show.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. That's fine. She's the same age as my daughter. She's perfectly fine to watch the show.
Yeah.
When you say niece, I'm thinking like somebody who's like 9.
I have to admit, Aiden watches the show sometimes.
That's a bad parenting decision.
Dad, you really ought to drink more.
That is a very, very, very bad decision.
Can you stop yelling at me, please?
No, I can't stop yelling, because that's how I talk.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, is there any end to this NFL bad?
Why are leagues going overseas? Why is MLB in London? Why is the NFL going to Europe, going to Brazil? They hate American football.
Yeah, and it's like, I think they all want to be basketball, which basketball is such an international sport. Like, who gives a fuck?
Yes.
You own 6 months of fucking sports.
Yeah.
And that's why the NFL is always trying to inject themselves into other parts of the year. It's like, no, NFL, go away.
Yeah.
And they're turning into flag football. They have this big Sunday ticket. I don't know if you heard this news. The Sunday ticket, whatever, they have this big lawsuit that's like $20 billion.
Jeremiah says he thinks this is tame compared to any Fitzgibbons family event. This is the softer side of his dear old dad.
Yeah. It got kind of weird at the house. Jeremiah grew up around the house. It got kind of weird. We've talked about it before.
Okay. But at any rate, so you think they're all trying to become the NBA?
Well, the NBA did such a good job for so many years becoming an international sport. And I've always thought, and I've said this before, that almost every every sport is behind in America is behind the NBA when it comes to marketing.
Yeah,
they're always behind. NBA is always innovating. It's the NBA, and then maybe the NFL does it, and then maybe like hockey or something, and then baseball like 7 years later does it and acts like they were innovating by doing it because the fucking MLB is behind them all. But yeah, I mean, I think that's why they're doing it. I mean, the NBA became such an international sport. The NFL still is not in the Olympics. Baseball got kicked out of the Olympics because they don't have enough countries. Not that I give a fuck about the Olympics, but we'll put that aside for a little bit till the Olympics. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to spread the word, but they're doing like a terrible job of it. Because
I know what your Fitz gibberish is going to be about next week.
That's teasing right there. Now that's a tease.
Speaking of teases, how's Nicole? No, I'm just joking.
What? Get my wife's name out of your fucking mouth. I'm just turned into Will Smith. You know why I turned into Will Smith? Wow. One of the commercials were for the new Bad Boys movie with Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. I don't know who wanted to make that movie or why it's being made, but it's been made.
It's been made.
It's been made. It's coming out at the end of June. Are you going to go check it out? Here we go. There's my wife, Nicole, making hot wings for me. I wish we had video from when I tried to do Fitz gibberish with my fucking mind and mouth burning.
I miss the Wheel of Death so much.
Here we go.
I can't wait till it comes back.
Well, it's not coming back.
Oh, it's coming back.
It's not coming
It's coming back with football season.
It's not coming back.
Oh, it's definitely coming back.
No.
Yeah.
I'd like to offer a rebuttal.
Vote in the chat if you guys want the Wheel of Death to come back. Just say yes. If we get more than 2 votes that say yes, we'll bring the Wheel of Death back.
2 votes?
Yeah, that's all we need. 2 votes. Because then it outvotes you. So
Michelle
Combs says yes.
She's probably sitting right there.
She's not. She's upstairs. John says yes.
For you. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I'll just turn around. Stick it in, you fucking asshole.
What? Shanna, I did go through with it.
No, you didn't go through with a couple of things. You never called Hallis Hall.
Well, first of all, we never found the phone number for Hallis Hall.
Time. Let's find Eberflus's phone number then.
Yeah, that's just public knowledge.
Barber he goes to. Ooh, Mega TV. No. Yeah.
It's too late. We already got 2 yeses. Jeremiah must have stopped listening. He would have responded.
He said, I don't know why they made it or who wanted it, but I'm going to watch it. I think he's talking about Brazilian American football.
It's tied. How is it tied? We have Michelle with a yes, John with a yes, and only Megan with a no. Shanna, you're a yes. You want to see stupid shit happen.
Come over here. Shanna's probably on so much fucking, edibles. She can't even count.
Doubting Thomas says I abstain. That means yes. Jeremiah Murray says yes.
He just got out of the bathroom.
So the Wheel of Death will be back this September. Back and better than ever, by the way. At that point, we might be sponsored.
Stay off the weed.
I can count cash high.
It sounds like she's a dealer.
She just wants money.
Yeah. So, but at any rate, we've got to get out of here. We're almost at our time for Badass Radio.
Yeah. Watch Badass Radio.
Check out Badass Radio every Tuesday night. Check it out all the time, but especially on Tuesday nights, 9:00. Combs and Fitz are on the air on Tuesdays on Badass Radio. You can find them on iHeartRadio.
Start putting heavy metal into the broadcast a little bit. Weave it in. Slayer. No.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, sure.
Like this idea.
I mean, I don't know where it would fit.
You're turning me down in a nice way.
Well, I'll tell you what. We'll play it during Fitz Gibberish.
I fucking hate you.
All right, guys. For anybody who missed any part of the show, again, you can catch us tomorrow or on Tuesday on Badass Radio. You can also play it back anytime on YouTube, on Facebook, on all that. I promise we're going to get it back up on Spotify. It's been a while. I've been kind of lazy. I've been kind of busy, and Fitz doesn't do anything after the show is over.
What the fuck? I don't do
anything. Till next time, guys. Same bad time, same bad channel. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your enemies.